just ignore prayer. Years we've been praying, we've not gotten anywhere. So that's the time to stop praying. I think now's the time to start praying too. So pray that we get it right, people. And for this segment, today's Quest segment, we have the newspaper review. So we'll be going through captions of the newspapers this morning. All right, so let me start with This Day newspaper. Starting off with This Day newspaper. So This Day newspaper has this caption here that says, just a moment now, here says, ASU, federal government resume negotiations today. Federal government ASU resume negotiations today. That's in This Day newspaper. Omar Agege faults Zamfara governor's sale of gold to CB. Hits Kano, nullifies constable recruitment. You find that in the Punch. Moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. 6 billion naira Lekki Deep Seaport commence work on quay, wall, construction road, power pool roads, and others. Federal government okays 33 billion for sub-regional power pool roads and others. We'll find out what that is all about when we get to the story proper. The lecturers. A statement signed and issued yesterday by the Deputy Director of Press and Public Relations at the Ministry, Mr. Charles Akpan, said Ngige will be hosting an industrial action following their opposition to the federal government's move to enforce the use of the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPS or IPPIS, the salary payment platform. Efforts to convene negotiations so as to resolve the dispute failed due partly to restrictions imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, hope that the strike action will be resolved emerged on Tuesday when ASU was summoned to a meeting by the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan, along with Ngige. The meeting chaired by Lawan also saw in attendance the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and ASU leadership led by the President, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, addressing journalists after about 3 hours and assess it. Discussions are on it and we're not foreclosed yet. UTAS is a homegrown software. It is what we call local indefinite strike on February. The Senate President Lawan told the meeting that the current impasse between ASU and the federal government was an ill wind that will not do any of the two parties any good. Senate President asked the two parties to find middle ground to resolve their differences. I guess that's why they're having a meeting today. And if they want to embrace the UTAS, it's about time they did. So one will wonder why they took so long to admit to that. Anyways, it's federal government. Emmanuel Ndukwe, good morning.
Is the ingredient that keeps both of them moving. Because I don't understand what, as they are negotiating now, it will reach a stage as will say, no, you must. Well, if it is that way, let us be watching them. But I think since ASU said it is against the law of this country, which of course was not drafted by that particular union. In other words, removing the autonomy of the universities. And if you want, this one will even encourage you've come up with. Let us, demonstration will continue. Let government not feel ashamed. Because I have said, it is not always those in government circles that know something, that are intelligent. If ASU has come up with this and they verify it truly, because I'm for verification before utilization. Now, if they verify it and it
has been long, ASU and the federal government have been dragging that. But I remember last time that we had, what's his name here? Dr. Sado, and I said, the reference to how, and not any of the other issues that Dr. Sado says, it's really more the reason why they took this decision to go on a strike.
I think it's a mixed drill, even the IPP. But the truth is that government, is high time government listened to this body. And for me, like I said, it shouldn't bring something of a shame. Should it be that whatever ASU has come up is better than their own? After all, ASU is a body of intellectuals of a nation. So why not cooperate? And if it's against ASU themselves, let them cooperate so that there will be peace.
All right then. Federal government ASU resume negotiations today. You find that in This Day newspaper. All right, let's move on to another. And this is from, also from This Day newspaper. Omar Agege faults Zamfara governor's sale of gold to CBN. Good to have you. Good morning.
And good morning. Like somebody coming from the street.
I was in the streets.
Governor, I can't remember the name in the north, was interviewed about minerals, and he said coke, mirin
of them. I don't understand. And I think that these things have been left in the gray areas for too long because the federal government has refused to put a spotlight on it. And it's rather unfair that coalition of northern groups yesterday vowed to commence today a wave of marches in the 19 states to protest rising insecurity in the region. The non-stop protests, according to the group, are aimed at drawing the attention of President security and other pressing concerns around dwindling economy, prohibitive commodity prices, rising inflation amidst mounting, described as a progression to this action. In the lingering dispute with academics lead the protest to demand the federal government to immediately declare a state of emergency on security and take practical steps to end all manifestations of insecurity in northern Nigeria and other parts of the country. Demand through reorientation of the entire police force and its empowerment by way of additional personnel, modern training, and adequate equipment to be able to reclaim its universal internal security function. Mount pressure on leaders to show real commitment to protecting the lives of citizens, ending the prolonged closure of our universities, reconsidering hiked commodity prices, reducing youth unemployment, and checking the rise in poverty level. To declare the agreement reached by Labour with government on new electricity tariff unacceptable and demand the immediate unconditional reversal to the old rates. All right.
It's a full bag.
It is. The heavy full bag.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think it is most needed now in terms of calling attention to security issues. I just want to limit myself to that aside. Maybe events in recent times have shown that protests and strike are the two things you can embark on to hold government attention or to draw the attention of government. And so, if the group is all right,
even though you have a group that says they've broken off and trying to find their feet, they'll still mention them as nothing.
That's why I say I don't want to open my mouth too much.
Right.
But then, closing my mouth reasonably, the fact now is that these groups of 19 northern states, if they can work together and press the demands of government to give them adequate and reasonable attention in terms of security. They've been talking about this, and it's been happening. It seems government, I don't understand, I'm telling you. Is it that government is becoming overwhelmed? And if government becomes overwhelmed, what happens to the citizens? These people, every time they kill them here, they kill them there, every time, every day. And government is keeping quiet. I think it's high time they look at that situation. Well, maybe when they do it, the president will now know that, see, SARS protest is across the country. I think they said it's hitting Kano today. And now if you add this, remember what I always say, you can't use two hands and carry load and climb a tree. So if my government does not act swiftly and reasonably now, what will become of me tomorrow? That's the government.
All right. Let's get to Opakada now.
A few things stand out for me in this their in whatever they have put out there. One is the fact that it is so clear now from what they have said that indeed it is not a matter of where your leaders come from. There is no guarantee that because it's from the south or the president is from the south or is from the north, that will automatically translate to a good life for the people of that region. So, yes, they have their people in government, but this is happening to them. So it's not a matter. Probably if it was another person from some other one, they would say, "Oh, it is the president that has abandoned us," or "He's the president because he's not from here." So it is not, that's not the issue now. It's clear that, look, what at any point in time we need is a leadership that is competent and that knows what it is doing. Good governance, bottom line. That's what takes off. Two, it is also become fairly clear now that at any point in time in Nigeria, there are people have needs. We're talking about scrapping of SARS. And the Borno State governor is saying, Zulum is saying, bring the SARS officers to Borno State. That he needs them there.
Yes.
You see, one need here may not be exactly the same the other way. Indeed, we need to come down and look at state police all over again.
Protesters adamant reject SWAT, insist on holistic police reform. Says here that despite the approval of their 5-point demand by a presidential panel and the creation of a special weapons and tactics team by the Inspector General, end police brutality and bring brutal policemen to justice, among others. The rain did not deter them, as they simply bought raincoats and umbrellas, while some public-spirited persons provided them with clothes.
So we are responsible. We want to engage you. Tell us all your grievances. But as for that of holistic police reform, I think we must start from one.
The fact that government over the years...
They say they don't want rhetorics. Action.
That is it.
Action.
We have accepted your this thing. They said we want to see action. And tell us time frame. When are we expecting this? As this up, commence these issues as they arose. None of the issues that we're seeing today happened just now. It's been long coming. And one police, how did even SARS get to this get this notoriety? One police officer or one has they get away with it, they feed fat, and then the policeman who is on the street has nothing. He has something with which he can get something. He embarks on it. And you can see that they will.
Officers who shot at them were prosecuted.
Exactly.
Let's see
That's
you even
reasonable,
prosecute these officers first. We've not seen anybody resigning. We've not seen anybody being fired.
Good location and a good. So we have various properties to suit your different real estate tastes. We have our Quiet Heaven layout. Phase 2 going for 1.7 million naira. Just immediately it you visualize, you know what exactly you can use this property for. Different reasons, you get clients will be popping out, different things, commercial reasons. Imagine having a property close to the new international airport building. So it's a great investment. Secured estate, decision estate. So you can reach me again on 081 3348 7968 0848 7968.
All right, then. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very
in.
much. Inspection days also Wednesdays and Saturdays, other days for inspection. 10
Right.
a.m.
Thank you for coming. And this is where we're moving on now. The news update comes up next.
Has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Hello and good morning. Here's the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I'm Annie Abdul Salam. The Senate has directed its committees on petroleum downstream and gas resources to investigate the recent gas explosions in Lagos State. The two panels were asked to probe the remote and immediate causes of the explosions with a view to preventing reoccurrence and report to the Senate in 2 weeks. Senate also took the decision following the point of order moved by Senator representing Lagos West Senatorial District, Solomon Adeola, on the issue. It also observed the minute silence in honor of innocent Nigerians that lost their lives in the unfortunate events. The lawmakers also directed the National Emergency Management Authority and the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development to immediately send relief materials to affected victims. Federal lawmakers also urged of hospitalized victims. The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has called for a repeal. Inu Tambuwal, who is also the governor of Sokoto State. The governors, among other things, implored the President and the National Assembly to repeal Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund Act 2019, which authorizes the President to deduct 0.5% of the total revenue accruing to the Federation account for the benefit of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. The governor said the deduction is patently unconstitutional. The forum further made a case for appropriate consultations with the governors of various states on the deployment of police commissioners to the states, says the police force is a common institution. Kwaza, also known as Ghana, Fachi was arrested by the men of the 4 Special Forces Command, Doma local government area of Nasarawa State, at Katsina, where he was hiding at his girlfriend's residence. Parading the suspect, the commander, 4 Special Forces Command, Doma Mundehi Ali Gazama, assured that the military will continue to be on the trail of other gang members until they're all arrested. Gazama said Fachi is the 76th member of the gang apprehended by the military. 4 others, including Ghana, have been killed in an operation by the military. On the foreign scene, dozens of civilians and soldiers have been killed in a series of attacks in Mali. 2 of the attacks targeted the army, while 1 was towards civilians. According to an army statement, a base in Sokora near the border with Burkina Faso was the first to be attacked. The number of soldiers who died in the attack has been placed at 9. The attackers ambushed other soldiers near the base who were responding to the attack, killing 3 of them. A vehicle transporting civilians to Bankas was attacked, leaving 12 civilians dead. This is the first time this country has experienced deadly attacks since the 18 August coup. And that was the news update on Today 95.1 FM. Do not forget to take responsibility. You must wash your hands free.
Court.
You and Your Health is brought to you by Doctors Save a Life Foundation. You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Hello, my pleasure, my honor. I remain your friend, Dr. Richard Okoye, coming your way today in this edition of You and You, and also that hardship translated into the way we also manage our health. And today's edition, we're going to look at a very, very important subject: what actually causes pain, causes embarrassment to our people. Today, we're talking about a lot of infection, a lot of epidemics of corona. Understand this very simple subject, and I want us to be very, very critical about it, as I'm also going to give the final answer and the solution to the problem that has to do with pile, has to do with an official pain in the anus, and all those related to the defecation and all that. Today I will be able just to explain that. But while I will explain it, I will tell you why it is very, very expedient for you to note that the beginning of our disease in this side of the world happen to be our habit. What I mean, our cultural habit. Cultural habit in the aspect of our handshaking. I want to explain something that has to do with your hand. The hand performs a lot of things in our society. By reason of our behavior, when it has to do with our eating habit. In this side of the world, we use our hand to eat, we mow the bar, and then we swallow. We do so many things. We have to hold our food with our hands, and so many things with our hands. So, as a matter of fact, our hands perform the cultural aspect of our eating, mud and fork and knife and all those spoons and all that. So, where do we have this very problem that our people, our children are all dying? You see the kind of under 5 mortality we have, it is the worst all over the world. What is the happening? What is making our people to be dying in a manner we are dying? And today we're going to talk about one great thing why your hand may be clean you. Your hand may be clean you. Your hand may be clean you. What do I mean by your hand may be clean you? Do you know that through your hands only, you contact a lot of diseases per day? In one disease or the other disease. Apart from the one that is causing the epidemic, apart from the issue of coronavirus, apart from the issue of Ebola, behavioral changes. But the most important thing you should understand that most of the environment you touch, that our hands may be cleaners. Our hands may be cleaners. So what do I mean by our hands cleaners? It is important for you to know, even beyond sanitization of your hands, diseases you have in this your body. Now, I want you to stay tuned, because when I come back, rectal prolapse, when they are going to toilet, the entire news will come out, and after which he will use his hand and push it back again. Most of these people may even finish it to wash your hand regularly.
For Nigeria is oil. And it's just like mineral, like gold. Everyone cannot be, every mineral cannot be. That will have solid mineral and others. Now, this particular one is organizing events. It will be better managed in the north. These illegal miners. I don't think he finished it before he went for his gubernatorial quest. There are certain strings that are pulled undercover, which nobody knows in this country. CBN, whichever way you look at it, represents the federal government. Now, why would they easily, Matawale, you are wrong, and then bring that 5 billion naira back to federal coffers?
All right, then. Okay, let me just quickly add this here. This is not only peace to Zamfara State, but prosperity and abundance. He resolved to revolutionize the mining sector in the state. In a state to supply it with gold as a proceed, who are supposed to be above board and serve as a vehicle of cohesion, but chose to be of that of disintegration. Governor Mohammed has times that number made it known to the public that his clear intention is to uphold the dignity and sanctity of Nigerian laws and statutes, and Matawale will never derail nor be derailed. All right, so this is the front put up by his aide.
Yeah, I think he's just doing his job.
Yeah, I think that's the gold bars I saw, and I was wondering, yeah.
He's doing his job as an aide to the governor. However, what I want to find, which of course his piece didn't explain, is that did the federal government enter into arrangement with governors at any point in time to say, okay, you now champion, this thing is in the exclusive list, it belongs to us, but you, as the chief executive of any state, now you champion anyone, for instance, you find misused, instead of reporting to us to send delegates to take control of them. Now, he's saying is Governor Matawale, that now perhaps because of whatever he's doing there in his state to stave off war, that's what I'm saying. Now, I don't understand that mix-up. Well, because you did it for rice, which is in agriculture, now it is in the domain of the federal authorities.
But when it comes to this angle of them buying from licensed miners, I don't see a problem there.
Give me money to do this, but not when you have the money to do what you have to do. You now instead choose to now go and convert it to gold, only to go and put it and then collect the wealth of that comes from oil, from the same federal coffers, and this one goes to either private pockets and to the states. We cannot continue to run that doing, and that is why, for me, when people talk about restructuring, these are some of those things that we need to look at all over again to run on the basis of equity on the binaries and engage these artisanal refiners to do it. And that
additional argument some of us have put up for almost 20 years now, that there is need to tinker with this federal structure, and it goes down to the bottom line of resource control, which was an argument that emanated from this part of the world, and some people were kicking against it. I think there is more to the story.
Model, look, see, this is gold. Look at it. See how solid it is. This is gold. Give us 5 billion naira under the anchor borrower scheme, and then we will buy gold in the course of time from the miners and give you that. So you, apart from having dollars as your reserves, you also have gold bars. We can do that for you.
Federal agencies that have the responsibility should take up their responsibility, and that the traditional methods we have adopted and we've agreed of ways of extracting mineral resources vis-a-vis our laws should be applied. Or do somebody go to Bonnet terminal and get gas, a kind of gas, and say, take a look at this, it's called gas. Then invite the federal government, let the federal government take up responsibility, mine the gold, and we do it.
Federal government is in the process of screening licensees for mining. I also understand that mining that is going to screen licensees. The people who are buying that license know what they want to do with the gold. They know where their export market is supposed to be, whether it's import or export market. So if Zamfara State Governor wants to buy gold from them, I think he's actually free to do that. As long as he's using, I don't know if maybe they have their legislation that empowers him to do that, and he buy gold from the miners. I think he should go ahead and do that. Where the CBN comes in that mix is what I don't understand. Why should CBN give you 5 billion now? Are you funding a particular miner? Is there a mining agency that you want to fund with
a borrowers program? Is the CBN?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Anchoring that.
If CBN is giving him the anchors, borrowers, whatever under that scheme, they want to get 5 billion.
Good.
Are they saying that Zamfara State has a mining agency?
No, you see, I'm with you in that question. I've asked that. What I'm only saying again is that, even in the anchors borrowers program, gold mining is not part of it. At least so far we know about
Well, maybe CBN wants to
cut the list and where it ends and all that. How come mining of solid mineral comes into this and it's only Zamfara perhaps that have heard that and CBN, others have not?
Okay, but all things being equal, Naira, maybe to set up the agency proper and get the requisite materials they need or equipment they need to mine and then to refine. And they're saying, what happens after that? We bought that from people who licensed before.
Is that one?
The fact that you bought it from the people who mined it illegally, for instance,
Illegally.
does not make it your property.
No, it is their property.
You still return it to the government
No, you
of the
can't.
federation.
No, they're not. No, the federal government has already allowed you to go in there and mine. Federal government is not collecting what you mined from you. You have mined, you've paid your license fees, you've going, you're mining. Wherever you carry your gold to is your business.
I'm talking of the one they have now.
That's what I'm trying to
CBN.
explain, yes. Wherever you go to with your mined gold is your business. Federal government is just collecting her money from licensing. Now, what Zamfara State did said, they noticed that we're dealing in some of this business. So they said, like, let's mop it up. Let's take it out of the market. So they said just before the ban came into effect, those who were authorized to mine
5 billion, is it?
no, nobody has quantified it in the conversation here. The conversation they put out here, nobody has quantified it. They are not giving those bars to CBN. They are asking CBN to give them 5 billion naira.
They're not giving them to CBN.
No, that's why the spokesperson came out and said they were peddling wrong information.
So what's the presentation for now?
To show that Zamfara can have this, can do this. Look, give us 5 billion naira. Zamfara State perhaps wants to go into the business of mining gold.
Give us 5 billion naira for what?
To mine gold.
Ndukwe.
Right, to mine.
No, you don't say. We say if the Zamfara has, we are not
That's
sure
what
they
we're
have.
saying here. They haven't even said they do have.
Good.
But I'm saying that it's possible that because that's what I'm reading from Zelani's position, that for the Anchor's Borrower scheme that they're trying to get 5 billion through is so that they can get refined minerals and refined gold. And it's on that refined gold that they will get that they hope to pay off this 5 billion that they will get from CBN.
The Anchor Borrower scheme is a federal government scheme, isn't it?
Yes.
See,
Open.
It's smoky.
It's all.
Or people who want to disintegrate and destroy the country. Because you see, I'm more concerned of the political implication and dimension to this development. Because if you watch it,
So I want to write my statement in front of Mr. Emmanuel Undukwe.
Yes.
You have to get Mr. Emmanuel Undukwe before me. And I write Now, the case that is I was arrested in January of 2020. In 2023, we're still there doing trial within trial, and all this while, I said, "Turn." He said, "No, I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at." And his eyes were on the paper already. He said, "I'm not looking at your paper. I'm looking at my colleague over there doing." And then he was now turning it as he was saying. I'm like, "It's okay. Now that you've done the read it." So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, so some of them can't read and write.
For me, the reform that we're talking about should not just be with the police. The entire justice delivery system should be reformed. The entire Nigerian economy should be reformed. For all of this to make sense, you cannot get a police that is up to par. And at the end of the day, there are so many poor persons that they cannot but commit crime and commit it in a very large distance. And then the police will have to contend with materials that are in short supply. And then everything goes back to. We cannot continue like this.
All right. And there's also the room for private detectives.
Yeah.
Nigeria can now have private detectives who are not employed by government. The Nigerian Police Force is responsible for vetting and approving the registration of private detective schools and private investigative outfits. So I can now become a private detective. I've been wanting to do that.
Sorry.
I'm about to drop the mic and become a private detective. But like I said, I hope that it's implemented in a manner where it's like as beautiful as we see it here. Because I believe it's going to bring a lot of strength to the Nigerian police force, the way we have it now. If all of this here, as we see, is practiced to the letter, it's going to bring a lot more change.
That's a qualifier.
First and foremost is that effort must be made to fund the police. And the resources
account for it and don't want to, take the money and give the Nigerian police force and let them be accountable.
As long as you say the governors that what was it called? Like we said during the newspaper review. Zulum is saying, please bring science to my place.
Yes, special need now.
That's what it needs. And others are saying no. So leave them, give them their own. They may have their own, peculiar security situation.
But they should be in a
if you carry the
fine
money and go and give to federal police, some people will suffer. So if as a state,
if the time where you see the federal police involved is when there's interstate crime or where there is cyber crime or I can't remember what was the third thing.
Issues that affect the nation.
Yes, that is where you see them, especially when it's interstates. The crime that has to cross with two states. You want to see their involvement there. But when it's in a state that has to deal with her own unique security issues, you want her to be in charge of the outfit. I'm totally for that argument. I'm just saying that with what we have now, if we're looking for a better means to what we have now, it will mean that part of the security vote going to the state governors. Maybe we should take a chunk of that and give the security outfits in the state and say, okay, we will monitor, because we can monitor you. We can't ask the governors, what did you do with this amount of...
There was a ban on Tuesday by a Rivers State government. Assuming we were running a state police, tell me, wouldn't it have been very sweet for the protesters that violated the instruction of Rivers State government?
No.
If it were a state police...
No.
If you were a state police where the institution itself has been hijacked by the said governor, they will run down, as it is here in Nigeria is happening.
And what we will understand in that situation is that every life belongs.
And I hope that when they said, I hope you know that. I hope you know.
The streets and
I hope you understand that with that it has been banned was also the instruction that violators will be prosecuted. So, but that didn't happen. And so Emmanuel's point of view here would be that if it were a state police that was hijacked. Remember, that is the key word. That was hijacked by a state governor. They will do that to the letter of the fears that people entertain when you're going to have state police, because these things can happen and could happen.
They will settle down.
And no, I agree. But
okay, good. So do you know that with time too, the federal police that you try to will settle down and work?
From 1960 now, they are not settled
you
down.
say perfectly. So if we have state police and 10 years later, and we're still having the issues, and what you people say you have.
No, we are coming from the old experience, so it will be a better structure. Because
we have seen how we've been in old experiences, even in minute valid. I mean, we have seen how state institutions have carried on, even in cases where they do not have control over the security architecture, much less when that is solely under their command. There is legit fear amongst others how that can pan out. But yes, if you look at the other divide, what we stand to gain if we had our own structures to handle in state policing far outweighs it. But those fears are legit. I think what we should start thinking about is how we will tinker with the instructions of state policing that will take away that commanding power we think that state governors might have. Maybe if we tinker with it now, a lot of people won't be too scared when it's time to have that implemented.
Anyway, state police does not make the governor commander-in-chief. It does not make him any commander-in-chief.
I've seen places where, in cases, scenarios where the state police, the governor is not commander-in-chief of anything, and yet he's still able to influence what happens there, much less when it's state police under his control. Let's just agree, state policing is a better option. I cannot deny that. I think it's a better option. I just want to ensure that we have the proper, shall I say, CBN to look into other schemes here or other potentials where that scheme, Anchor Borrower scheme, can effect certain changes. So if we have to put our gas in certain bottles and line them up and take pictures and speak to the CBN, we should start doing that. We've already understood what it meant, what the Land Use Act was all about, and where the minerals and resources found in Nigeria, where it dwelled, and it dwelled on the exclusive list. So for Zamfara to be making such moves, it just seemed as if there were certain things that were not taken into consideration, and the need to clarify on a lot of that. And then we spoke on the appeal court that has ruled concerning the case of the Nigerian police force and null and void. That's the appeal wrap up on the program. After taking your calls and text messages, to send us text messages, send them to 070-1933-9962. That's 070-1933-9962. Or call 0810-951-0951 or 0817-0000-951. Those are the numbers to dial to get through to us here in the studio. The numbers for text message and WhatsApp is 070-1933-9962. Don't forget to tweet at Today FM 951, Facebook Today 95.1 FM. That's it. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Nigeria Constitution. So I want to beg that, in as much as it sounds so nice to the ears, the police personnel, whether recruit, constable, whatever rank you may be, should be given access to this act so that whoever, they will know their boundary. Then, in the other hand, the gold mining in Zamfara. Well, I think if it goes this way, I should be smiling because the oil in my backyard, probably I'll walk up to CPN and then ask them to do something about it because I think if it goes this way, I will say in my language, and then I'm for a Cheka. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much. I think Cheka is thank you, something like that.
Yes.
See, I'm very soon. Is it Iche that says Cheka? Is it Che, not Ikwere? What does Ikwere say? Thank you. Mecca is true. All right. Good morning, Annie. The conveners don't only buy operational vehicles, they and local government. KM Hospital, you said, good morning, everyone. Annie, let me first of all commend you as a northerner for bringing this topic. I don't understand. They won't talk about this. Omar Gege, so all northerners will not bring this topic up. Omar Gege have shown that he loves the Niger Delta more than APC. He's now my man. Oh, okay. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Anthony. I'm calling from Aba.
Anthony, good to have you. Go ahead.
And please, I want to plead all the whole governors in the oil area. Please, Akwa Ibom, Calabar, Abia State, and the rest in Babayasa. Please, let them go into oil. Please, let them go and bring out our oil and they go to federal.
Hello.
CBN, please. I want them to go ahead and to just bring our oil. We just see that federal government don't know about it. We want to show them that we have oil. Please, also we can please wake up. Other governors, wake up, please. Thank you.
All right, got your thoughts too on that. Thank you. Chimobi, fund the police. Fund the police, please. If I may ask, what happened to the money? State police being hijacked by governors have to stop. We need states for proper police force. The benefit is more. Imagine the gains OSPAC recorded. Do you know what I keep saying again? There's an to there. Also think that I'm here now. I get several reports of some untoward actions that
Refuse to intervene. And I believe you tomorrow I get some oil to NPC and
now they are coming up with it. It's a good thing. But I will urge other states to come up with their own independent way of managing their resources for a progressive Nigeria if we want to exist as one. There are many countries that can go with us when we have to compete in resources. I don't understand what is going wrong. We have enough resources in Nigeria. It bothers me that we've not harnessed anything. I mean, as a young guy, I am so angry that I look at other my mates, other places. The little things they have, the 2 centers, 4 centers. Don't cost anything. 5 million, 10 million, you can give them to tennis in the streets.
as it is now, is it not going into extinction?
yeah?
As it is now, is it not going into extinction?
It's a little bit better.
No, you can't know because you haven't even tried the other. You can't know because you haven't even tried.
We can see.
I am Mr. President. Governor called the CP. Go and where that price is going on in that local government. And the CP told him, except I get signal from Abuja. The only time they have that issue about they are not controlling police is when they want to use it against their opponent. It is inconceivable for anybody to tell us that a commissioner of police in a state will be issued a lawful order by the governor to go after hoodlums, people perpetrating security breaches, and the CP would tell him that except I get signal from IG. These are misconceptions we have held, helping these are politicians to have their way. It's an open-ended language thing. There is no time a governor would want East-West Road is being harassed, being controlled by hoodlums. And the governor says, I want the police to move in there. And IGP says...
What about the changing of state commissioners of police without any
issued license by federal government? It can lead to abuse. But look at when this
any long it may delay, it will be done. Wari Boy sent that in. Good morning, Annie. Police funding can't be overemphasized, be it state or federal deploying funds in the use of technology to fight crime would definitely reduce crime. The technology can also enhance better public interaction by having chips on the uniforms of each policeman or woman out there on the field recording real